Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Too Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we're ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's IMDb.com, look up Too Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, IMDb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm pretty excited today. I've got actor Matt Dallas with me. So welcome, Matt.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
That's an epic mustache. I'm a little jealous of that mustache.
Yeah, it's weird because my dad has a mustache, and he always did growing like my whole childhood, actually like my whole life. And now I'm in my 40s, and there's so many times, it's so often that I catch myself in the mirror and I have like the trippiest moment because I see my dad or I see a picture of myself. But I have two brothers, and they both have mustaches too. I don't know what about this past couple of years is like inspired a real mustache run in my family.
That's it. Well, like if you grow in a beard, can you do the long beard, or does it grow out? How's your beard grow?
Mine gets pretty it gets pretty full. I actually just shot a movie at the beginning of this year where I have a full beard. And it's pretty great too. I looked like, and I gained a lot of weight for the role, so I looked like like Santa Claus in his 40s. Like really jolly cheeks and the big old full beard. There was a lot of gray coming in, but I hadn't quite had the all white yet. So
if they did a live adaptation of The Year Without a Santa Claus, you could totally be that Kris Kringle.
I mean, I would love to. It'd be so much fun. I feel like I'm jolly and smile enough, so I feel like I could pull it off.
That's where we got half our name for MeisterCon, was Meister Burgermeister from
really
Santa Claus. Yeah. The con's the easy part. That's Star Trek fan, so con, but the Meister, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I love it. I think if they did that, not that the claymation wasn't epic, but if they did live action, I think you got a little resemblance to that character.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
it. I think we just cast your new role.
Done. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
So we have to talk shoulder dance, but before we do, let's talk a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business. Why do you want to be an actor?
Sure. It started when I was younger. I was growing up in Phoenix, and Arizona as a state is a very athletic state.
Yeah.
It's just, they're big on sports. Everybody plays sports, but that was just never really my vibe. Like I just, I did it all as a little kid, but I was the kid that was like out in right field chasing butterflies and like picking daisies and stuff. And my dad, who coached all the teams, was always yelling at me to pay attention. And so my grandmother like recognized it, like this was just not my thing. And she read about a new community theater that had come to town. And so she took me to audition for a play when I was 12. And I just remember like since that audition, I don't know, like being up there doing, I don't know, like singing whatever song they had me sing. I just had this feeling in my body of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then from that day forward, it was just, there was no turning back. I didn't really know what that path was going to look like. Was I going to move to, LA and do film and TV, or was I going to move to New York to do stage? But I just knew in my bones that this is what I was supposed to do. And then I did. And then when I was 18, I graduated high school. I waited tables, saved up $3,000 and moved to LA. I didn't know anybody, and just started like plugging away. And here we are today.
Yeah. Here we are, and not too bad.
Yeah, listen, I can't complain. I've been very fortunate.
I remember you making an appearance on Entourage even before Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first. Entourage was my first, like real role. I had done like some, I don't know, like little things here and there that were, I don't think of anything of much, but Entourage was the big, it was like, I joined SAG before Entourage.
Yeah.
And I had like 2 lines or something in it. I don't even remember, maybe only 1 line, but I was like, I felt like, oh, this is it.
The only reason I remember that is when my kids started watching Kyle XY, and I saw the episode. It wasn't that long after Entourage had aired, and I was like, I just saw that guy.
And still wearing not very many clothes. So for some reason at that time in my life, I kept booking roles where I was practically naked.
That's what your 20s are for.
I guess. I remember just showing up though. I remember showing up to Entourage and them holding me like, "This is your wardrobe fitting," and it was just like a selection of Speedos. And then showing up to them reading the pilot script for Kyle XY and being like, "Awesome!" And the first half of this episode, I'm naked, walking around covered in goo. And that was it.
Next year is like 15 years since it went off the air. Is it time to bring it back?
Has it been that? That's crazy. I mean, I know it's been a minute, but 15 years, that's
March
nuts. Yeah,
2009, I think, was the end of it.
Yeah, it was the end. 2009 was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, listen, I'm here for a reboot. I think the cast would be all about it too.
I mean, we never really got a closure with the finale. It left some
not at all
threads.
Not at all. They totally left it open-ended. I know I still get messages to this day on social media, people being like, "We need to know how it ended. How did it end?" You're good. The answer's as good as mine. I don't know.
There has to be fan fiction out there that ends the show.
I'm sure there is. I've seen stuff online, like random stuff here and there online, but I feel like we deserve an official ending. Like, let's do it like a cut to 10 years later, some like tie up what happened then and like see where we're at now.
See where it goes.
Yeah.
There's a Big Bang episode where Sheldon gets upset because they've canceled one of his science fiction shows that he watches. And so he spends the episode finding the writer to call and ask him how he was going to end the show, just so he could have closure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we got to do. We got to hunt these guys up, and
we got to hunt them down.
Yeah. What was the plan? That's what we just want to. We're not going to see it, so let's just tell us what the plan was.
I don't even know. Like, I guess I've never really asked the question of the writers or our like showrunners what their plan was.
Well, with the cliffhanger, they had an idea for the next season.
They had to, right?
Had to. Or they were just really like, "Oh, well, we're going to mess with them." None of this stuff means anything.
Right. Even if they did come back, they were like, "We got a few months to figure it out." I don't know. We'll see.
Do you miss those days, or was it kind of freeing when you got to do other stuff?
No, I miss those days, and there was a real like magic between that cast too.
This is a good cast.
We were all like, for a lot of us, it was our first real big, like first big project, and we all could like, or even we were just, a lot of us were young, and then even Marguerite, McIntyre played my mother, and Bruce Thomas, like they had long careers up until this point, but there was something about when we got together that just we all connected and bonded in such a way, and I feel like there was a real chemistry among not even just that cast, but that crew and our producers and directors, and we really had the best time. So I miss it. I like it. I guess it's a very nostalgic feeling. We just had so much fun, and yeah, I mean, it would be fun to see every once in a while. I mean, we used to do like get-togethers, little reunions every once in a while. It's been a few years. Maybe I need to organize that.
There you go. You got to take charge. You were the lead.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm still in contact with a lot of the cast. April Matson and I are good friends. Jean-Luc, and Jamie Alexander. We're still I'm still close with a lot of them.
Yeah, that's great. As a fan, we love to hear that. We're like, yeah, they seem like they get along good.
Yeah, and we did.
Later, like they hated each other, but so it feel good when you get along.
It's disappointing, right? When you're like a fan of something, and then you feel like it's all like fake in a way, that you're like, you bought into something and you like believe that these characters, at least that this chemistry was real, and then when you find out that they were like, there's tension behind the scenes and stuff, it kind of
messes it up.
It like takes it away a little bit. You're like, I don't want to hear that. But no, with us, it was the opposite of that. We were actually we were super close. We loved each other.
You got to play Bat Masterson in a Western with Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
That sounds weird to even say.
Yeah, that was an interesting project, right? Because it was like, I never met Val Kilmer on that. Like, he shot all his stuff away from all of us on that project.
Isn't that a little disappointing?
Yeah,
you don't get at least one day on set with the main star.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, film is weird that way, right? Like, I come from theater where everybody, even if you don't have scenes with somebody, you're still very much in the rehearsal process, or even just through the run of the show, you're still backstage together, and you're still part of you feel like you're all working together to create something. Right. Whereas film, it's weird like that, because if you don't have scenes with somebody, you miss them. I remember I did Beauty and the Briefcase, and I was a huge fan of Jennifer Coolidge. I still am. Jennifer Coolidge, of course. But this was years before even she blew up with White Lotus and stuff. But she was in this movie, and I was so excited so I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in a movie with Jennifer Coolidge. And I came to set early that day because we didn't have scenes together, but I wanted to meet her. So I came to set early just so that I could meet her. And I remember I was, she was in the middle of her scene when I showed up, but I was telling everybody, you can't let her leave. You have to at least you have to let me meet her. And of course, by the time, her scene wrapped and she was out of there, and I was sitting in my trailer the whole time, and I ended up missing her, and I was so disappointed, but that's okay. But
that would see, I'd be a terrible actor because I'd be all upset. I'm too big a fan. They'd let me on set one day, I'd screw it up, they'd never let me back.
Yeah, I guess it's just the way. I don't know. I guess I got to track it down and say we did work together.
Technically, we did.
Technically, but the Wyatt Earp's Revenge, that's what it ended up being.
Wyatt Earp's Revenge, yeah. It
was something different when we shot it, but that film. So I didn't get to meet Val Kilmer, but that's okay. But I did meet, that served a bigger purpose because I shared a trailer with Stephen Graham in that movie, and him and I became best friends, or really good to this day, very good friends. And we actually ended up, because of that project, working on this other project together that has become a passion project of mine and his for the past 12 years. We've been just pounding the pavement working on this project called Sheepdog, which is the last project that I just worked on. We shot the beginning of this year. But it's a veterans it's a project about a military combat veteran, who has come home and struggling with reacclimating into society. And so we spent 12 years working on that project, and we finally just shot it this year. And so even though that project was kind of a flash in the pan,
that's kind of awesome.
but it changed the course of both of our
Yeah.
lives. This working on this project, we went on 2 cross-country road trips to work with combat veterans, like collect their stories, working with PTSD clinicians, doctors, like the whole gambit, in crafting this story. And so ultimately, even though that Wyatt Earp's Revenge is I don't even remember much of the movie. I mean, playing
But it
Batman,
led to something bigger.
but it ended up, yes, like turning into something far more meaningful.
That had to be very cathartic, actually starting to film. If you've been working on it for 12 years, actually just starting the filming process, that had to be awesome.
Oh man, I can't even tell you, because it was a lot of work to get to that point. And even like for me, I was like a part of it from the very beginning. But Steven, who, like I said, when we set out on this journey, he has sort of just an idea or a concept for a project, but he didn't really know what it was. And that's when he said, like, if you want to work on this project with me, you have to come out on the road and be a part of collecting these stories, and so that we could actually like shape the screenplay or the script for
I
it.
love that. You got to take a road trip.
And we did, and we spent 3 months on the road, and then
Wow.
we collected just as many stories, like hundreds of stories. And then, he worked on the screenplay, and then we went on another one to sort of to promote it and raise money. And then and so we went on the second road trip, and then we spent the next 10 years trying to like raise money and put the project together, and it would come together and then fall apart, and then come together and then fall apart. And then ultimately, 12 years later, beginning of 2023, we're standing there on set, like we just couldn't believe it. We were like, I can't believe after all these years, like here we are, and these characters are coming alive, and these words are being spoken. And we had an amazing cast. We had Virginia Madsen,
Oh, wow.
Bondi Curtis Hall, and they deliver some like just insanely beautiful performances. And it just was, it was really special to like see that all come together so many years later.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to seeing that one. I'm assuming you'll go like the film festival route with it first.
That's the idea. Yeah. Is that right now we've started submitting to film festivals, and we'll see where it goes. Sorry, we're supposed to be talking about shoulder dance, but
yeah, I know. We got sidetracked. Oh, I didn't. I was supposed to ask you if your cooking has improved.
Off of Worst Cooks.
Yeah,
I think so. You know what? I did take a lot of skills from that show that I still use to this day, but even that show was like, it's more like being on a game show, right? Like you have a recipe, and it's like, learn this and do it quickly. You have 10 minutes.
I know they kind of set you up to fail a little bit because it's too fast.
That's the fun of it, though, right? It was so much fun, though. That was a fun show. That was a fun project too.
That's pretty good. So so Shoulder Dance. What's the movie about? What's your role in it?
So the film is about Ira, who is my character. Him and his boyfriend, who have been together for years, I think like a decade. And Josh, Taylor Fry plays my boyfriend, Josh. And he's like yearning for something more, for us to take the next step to like make it official, get married, and build a life together. I kind of spring on him that I have a long lost friend of mine from my high school or my adolescent years is coming to visit.
It's never good.
And spend the weekend with us. And he's saying like, hold up, wait, who is this person? Why have I never heard from him? And there's a lot of baggage that sort of comes along with the visits from this mysterious friend from my past. Yeah. And then so along throughout the movie, we start to explore sort of all those, like, I don't know, like the ghosts from our past and what it brings up and what it stirs up. And there's it's introduction of a lot of alcohol and maybe a little bit of drugs that ignite this like very exciting but fun but messy weekend where everything kind of comes to the surface. And then I think it's like a very, like you said, cathartic experience, and it all, you explore and learn and like, I don't know, go through this crazy journey, and then ultimately in the end, we come out of the weekend changed people.
Do we get a happy ending, or is it more bittersweet?
No, I think I'd say it's a happy ending. It's definitely a feel good ending.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched the trailer. It actually looks really, really good and a little funny. Like it looks
It's
like there's some humor in it.
It is. There's a lot of funny. It's because it's like it is messy, and I think anytime. I mean, it's funny because it's messy and awkward at times and clumsy, but it's supposed to be all those things because that's like the humanity, right? Is that we're all kind of complex and like trying to figure out, the traumas of our past, but like in such a fun way because there is a lot of, like I said, a lot of like um
Well,
uh
it's exactly
alcohol
what you would
involved.
expect if that situation played out in real life. Like it'd
Yes.
be a mess.
It is, and it would be a mess, and it is a mess, and you just like trying to figure it out, and it is, but it's such a fun ride because it is like, and especially when I think you have the freedom of like when there's alcohol introduced, or like they take Molly in the film, and so like you get to explore it in these ways that are so just kind of like silly, and so you get to have a lot of fun with it, and it was like the four main cast. It was us in a house for 3 weeks, just getting to like
I mean, that's not terrible.
be living. No, a house in Malibu. Like it was like a great place to show up to work. And so yeah, so we just got to like be together for 3 weeks and talk about all of these kind of, I don't know, dynamics and the dynamics between them and the chemistry and like how they all like kind of just intertwine, and I don't know,
Well, and
end
it's
up
a really
becoming
good
debauchery.
cast too.
It was I mean, we got really lucky. I mean, well, Jay Arnold, the director, he did a really great job of assembling the cast. And
Yeah.
I think it is, I mean, I don't know. We sort of like all showed up and just fell in love with each other and just said, all right, this is like, let's get messy. We roll up our sleeves and just got to play every day. It's just really play.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it, I know it's been hitting some of the festivals because it's been doing really well, but is it out yet or is it still coming out?
No, it's out now. I think it's available everywhere to sort of stream. You can buy, rent. I think it's on Prime Video,
It seems
Apple.
like a really good date movie.
Yeah, I would say it's a really good date movie. Yeah, because it's also like it's fun. You'll laugh together, you might
Yeah.
cry together, but it's also really sexy. Like so, it'll get you in the mood for some fun, sexy time.
Yeah, I think we're going to just we can hold like 20 people here at the studio. I think we're just going to invite over all the couples and watch it
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Invite the
Order in
couple.
some food.
It's funny. I watched it. Like I don't know. There is definitely some sexy time in it that makes me squirm. Anytime like as an actor that I see that stuff on, it just makes me, I
It
don't
makes
know.
all of us squirmy, which is
A
part of the
little bit,
fun.
it is. But my husband was he laughs at me every time that stuff comes up because but
Well, he knows. He knows it makes you uncomfortable, so it amuses him, I'm
yeah,
guessing.
yeah, yeah. So he likes to bust my chops.
Did you get to do a like a red carpet? Do you have a premiere?
Um, we didn't do a premiere. We did at the San Diego Film Festival. Most of the cast was there.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
actually, most of the cast, three of our four. Maggie wasn't able to make it out. But we got to sort of have like a little sort of premiere thing together, and that was like our reunion in San Diego for their film festival.
Well, if you got to do one, that's not a terrible place to do
Yeah, right. And it's
it.
close to home for me. It was an easy trip for me.
Do we get to see these characters again at some point? Is there possibility of sequels down the road?
I don't know. Jay keeps talking about the potential for either a sequel or turning it into a series, or I don't
I
know
think
what's
it'd make a
happening.
good series.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot to. I mean, there's so many places that this story could go, and it would be really fun to see these characters beyond the story and to see where they go. So I don't know. Maybe that would be cool. Listen, I wouldn't be mad at it.
No, no, I think a series would be really good. Preferably on one of the streamers where you wouldn't be confined with
Yeah,
network
I,
stuff. That might make it a little better.
yeah. There are definitely some. There are adult themes in this film, so I think it
Yeah,
would have to be on a streamer in that way that where you had sort of the freedoms to explore all this stuff.
yeah. I know it's so weird how we consume movies and television now. It's changed so much. I grew up, it was just the networks. We didn't even get cable till I was a teenager. And,
Yeah.
they were very strict on what was allowed on TV. So you didn't have anything that was risque or anything. And now, you turn something on, most of the time you don't know
you
if
don't
it's
know what you're putting on
or
right?
anything. So it's hard to tell what you're going to get on something.
It is. Even with that, like you see that TVMA on there, and you're like, you still don't know. It could be such a gambit. You could like, that could just mean there's a couple of F-bombs, but it could also mean that you're in for like hours.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. You're right. Violence, nudity, like all of it, the whole gambit. Like you just don't know these days.
Well, and you got, some movies are starting to be released like normal. Some of them are still coming just straight to streaming, and nobody seems to mind it. I mean, it's great to go to the movie theater. We all love that, but it's hard to beat being at home watching a movie that you can pause and go to the bathroom and not miss anything.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I mean, like, I do love the movie theater experience because there is something like the big screen and the lights.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
everybody loves
popcorn and getting to see, like, it really is like, there's nothing beats that. But it is, I mean, I just think like we as consumers or like as audiences, we have been now sort of like retrained to consume in a different way. And it's really hard to put smaller films into a movie theater because it's just, I don't know, the way the industry has changed. Like you're not going to see independent films in the theater as much anymore. Like
no, you might see them for a day or two.
Yeah, but they really do come and go. But you watch the Oscars now, and just as many films that are being nominated for Oscars are something that you watched on Netflix or Prime Video as it is something that you saw in the theater.
It feels like we're getting back to more story creation and emphasis on the dialogue, and maybe away from some of the bigger special effects heavy movies. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, I don't think so at all. Because, I think listen, the spectacle of like the Marvel movies and the big things, like those will always be fun. And like, and even those explore some big, like really important, deep themes. But I do agree that it is nice that we're sort of heading in the direction that we can also embrace the sort of like the exploration of the human experience in a different way that doesn't feel as big as like special, like it doesn't rely on the special effects. It's especially as I guess as an actor or filmmaker in that way. It's like it's exciting to me to see that films like Coda can win Best Picture, or that are really just about.
Oh, Coda was amazing. Yeah,
it was great.
Great movie. Have you done some work behind the camera? Have you done some directing?
I haven't done any directing, but I've been producing lately.
Oh, very nice.
So the film Sheepdog, which is the military film. I'm a producer on that, and then I just actually produced a documentary with Jay Arnold, the director of Shoulder Dance. We just shot a documentary in Italy as well. So I've been working on the producer side a little bit more too.
What was the documentary about?
You know what? I feel like
is it too early?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet. I thought I was, but then Jay.
That's how I rope you in to come back.
I know, right? Listen, I'm here for that. I'll be here to talk about the documentary then in a few months.
Well, Matt, thanks so much for taking a little bit of time. A couple of little things before we wrap up. Is there anything else that you're working on that you can tell us about that we can keep an eye out for?
I think right now the two are Shoulder Dance, and then Sheepdog is the one that the military project that we're submitting to film festivals and it'll come out in 2024. So I think those are the two projects right now that I'm excited and able to talk about.
Yeah, those are pretty good ones. That's not terrible. All right, last thing before we wrap up, where can we find you on social media?
On Instagram, just Matt Dallas. And then I don't tweet. Well, I guess Twitter is now X, right? I'm not on there much.
I know. What's the word now? Is it still tweet?
I think we just say I don't know. Do we X? What do you write? I don't even know. What do you call it? You don't.
It's very. I don't know why you would take something that was so easily recognizable and change it, but that's not up.
There's a whole lot. That's
not it. That's above my pay grade
over there. I guess Instagram is my main place, or on YouTube. You can find my husband and I have a YouTube channel. It's Matt and Blue. So YouTube, Matt and Blue, and then Instagram is Matt Dallas.
Well, Matt, open invitation. Whenever the next project comes, especially Sheepdog, I'd love to hear about that one. You have to come back and talk to us about it.
I would love to talk to you. I'd like maybe come on with Steven. I would love to.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on one second. All right. So actor, producer, Matt Dallas. Hope you enjoyed that one. I know we've got some Kyle XY fans out there. So I wanted to make sure to ask him about that one. I think all of us were disappointed that it ended on a cliffhanger, a pretty big one. I won't spoil it for those that haven't got to watch the series yet. All of us, I think, would like to know what how that show was supposed to wrap up. I got to speak to him, I think, about everything I wanted to. I didn't mention Eastwick. He was really great on there. He played Rebecca Romjan's love interest. Chad on that show. He was really good in it. He also did a recent TV movie called Every Breath She Takes, where he was a detective in it. And then Shoulder Dance, which is out now, and I would encourage you to check it out. Looks really good. Just from the trailer, the dialogue is great and it's funny. I think you'll enjoy it. I'm looking forward to watching it with our group of friends this weekend. So I'll try to come back and let you know how great it is, and I think it's going to be really great. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you. We really appreciate it. Definitely don't take you for granted. We love that you're here. Would love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. A couple easy ways. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. We just ask that you subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but those subscriptions really help us out, and they're free. Can't state that enough. We also were named a top 100 podcast by IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast. If you look up our page, just looking at the page, just that traffic on the page really does help us out. We're so proud of the fact that we were named a top 100 podcast by IMDb. There's 15 million podcasts out there. You know, we're just a little father and son team. It's just a two-man operations. Me and my son, Brett. Brett handles the hard stuff while I do the, endless talking that probably drives everybody crazy. Brett edits and markets and, does all the tech involved stuff, but it's just us. So small father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, St. Albans, West Virginia, to be named a top 100 podcast alongside, the big ones from Disney and Marvel and Joe Rogan, all those. Pretty big honor. So saying all of that to try to entice you to go to imdb.com and look up the Too Opinionated podcast. We've got almost 700 episodes. We're rocketing toward our 700th one. I think we put out episode 686 today. You can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. We'd love to have you. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.